Good evening, Blue Jay Tay TV. This is Blue Jay Tay. I'm back with another episode. So I'm already knowing I can feel it coming on. I can feel it in the air. You guys are probably going to jump in these comments and try to argue with me, but argue with your mom. Like my girl Voodoo Doll say, the dollhouse, okay? So this episode is going to be on Degrassi characters that I feel like get unnecessary hate. These are characters that I see a lot people talk about in comments. I'm on a lot of Degrassi fan pages on Instagram, Facebook, things like that. And I just feel like, what's the hate for? I don't know. I don't get it. So let's start off with number one, Mia. She isn't hated that often, but when she is, everyone keeps saying she is boring. I don't think she's boring. I actually think it was the writers being way too quick with her stories. But she was a very complex character. Like, she was the first mom in TNG that actually had a child before Dallas. She was trying so hard to be a normal teenager, regardless of how many times her mom reminded her that she was also a teen mom, which I feel like she didn't get enough grace from her mom. Like, she was doing her job and then some, excuse me. And Shorty was always down her throat. Then Holly freaking J and her nasty attitude was always being mean to her when it came to Sav, but whatever. She was just a young girl looking for love, like we all do at that age, you know what I mean? So she got back together with Lucas, even though he was clearly a fool. But again, he was someone she used to be in love with and had a baby at 13 with. I feel like we keep missing that. I feel like we're skipping over the context clues. I used to tell us to watch out for context clues when we were younger. I feel like we skip right over that. So I don't know. Even Jane, who practically shit on her every chance she got about her brother, while understandable, didn't have enough grace to understand Mia's standpoint. Especially since, like Mia pointed out, she dropped her friendship the moment she got pregnant. I mean, it's the pot calling the kettle black for me. So, I mean, I never understood this. Everybody like took Mia being a teen mom and just like used every ounce of time they had to bash her about it, and it drove me up the wall. Like everybody was trying to tell her what to do, and oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, hello, she still thinks like a teenager. Y'all keep forgetting she's a teenager too. God, and I'm definitely gonna get a lot of flack for this one because I see people talk about it. But the relationship she had with JT, I actually liked because although we all love the nostalgia of him and Liberty, JT was an ass towards her, especially in the beginning. I mean, he was very rude towards Liberty, the same rudeness he had towards like Toby during that one specific season. I can't remember what it was. I think it was post, no, pre-shooting. He was very rude towards him, and he was even more of a dick to him post-shooting. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't understand why everybody's kind of like pushing them to like, yeah, they were cute at some point, him and Liberty, I mean, but I mean with Mia, he just he had a much softer side to him with Mia, and the relationship was unproblematic. You know, he was actually very sweet and nice, and he treated her daughter, Bella, very nice. Like he definitely was. He was sweet towards Isabel. Not saying he would be sweet towards his own child, but I'm pretty sure that was hard for him, seeing as though they gave up their own child. So I can imagine what was going through his head. And last but not least, for Mia, I should say, the T Bomb storyline, I actually liked. It felt slightly rushed, you know. Again, writers, I feel like they were having like good moments, but then they were having like, sorry, there is like this dang thing. Anyway, but then they were having other moments where they were like, kind of like, okay, this is a good storyline. We're going to kind of speed run it. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, I feel like there could have been a little bit more stuff in between, you know? So it did feel slightly rushed, but it was good. It was a good storyline nonetheless. She thought she basically had to sell her soul to be the model she wanted to be, you know. And a lot of people feel like that. They feel like because sometimes in those industries, they are pressured to be, you know, have a certain diet, look a certain way, wear this, sleep with that person. I mean, look at all the shows that we've watched from back in the day, especially with children. And then, like, we have, the fouls of like, uh, Tyra Banks, and the top model. There was a lot of like negative things. Dance moms, freaking, because it won't get out my brain, Jerry Springer, but there was something else I was gonna say. Quiet on Set. We have a lot of shows that we used to watch that were great to us, but there was a lot of abuse and narcissism going on behind closed doors. So I feel like that was important to show that, and to show that she felt like she had to participate in that in order to rise to the top. So what made me irritated was Leah ratting her out to Danny. It was just bizarre and not very girls girl of her. I mean, I understand disagreeing with your friend, but completely downing your friend, like that was wild. I mean, let's be real. Mia never had a malicious bone in her body. She was actually a very good person. And people just dogged her left and right. Well, except for when she denied her daughter. I hated that. But she was just, again, doing everything she could to get where she needed. I just felt like the girl just needed some guidance. For real, for real. I feel like she just needed a little bit of guidance on the way. And I feel like if she would have had that, she would have been better off. She would have made some stupid decisions. But, teenagers, we all are just dumb when we're teenagers, honestly. Now let's go to Liberty. I don't hear a lot of hate do I hear about some of these people on this list, but there are people that don't like her and feel like she's like an asshole and she's a douchebag. I don't get those vibes from Liberty, but she was honestly just a very intelligent girl who didn't like her studies being messed with, and especially like when they were raising money for the sports team, but they don't raise money for any of their academic teams. I understand that. And honestly, they just didn't know how, like, they didn't know much to do with her. Like most of their ethnic characters, if you notice, a lot of their ethnic characters don't have a lot of really poignant storylines. And I mean, ones that they've given a lot of them to their you know what I'm not explaining that to y'all. Y'all know what I mean. There's a whole list of people that have YouTube channels out there that talk about that, talk about black hole characters too. Y'all know what I mean. I'm not arguing with your mom. Anyway, I liked her, and I'm glad they gave her the beautiful genius trope. Because I was thankfully they didn't give her some stupid, corny, stereotypical storyline that would have just pissed me clean off. And I'm not gonna say because she was pregnant that was a stereotypical storyline, because that's stereotypical for all girls. We all had a lot of people that were pregnant in high school. I mean, like I said, I had a baby at 18. So she did, however, stress me out. Speaking of which, during pregnancy, like, okay, because I get that she was stressful and that things were stressful, but she didn't exactly help JT during that time. And then she just created more stress that ended up in him attempting to unalive himself. So I just feel like she should have been less controlling and more willing to let JT take over a little bit. Yeah, he's gonna be a little goofy. He's gonna be a little this. He's JT. He's been like that. And also, he's a teenage boy. I feel like she put a lot of pressure on him, and then with the adoption, I feel like she kind of made the decision. She's just like, nah, talk to the adoption. I feel like he didn't have a lot of decision making. So it just, I don't know. She really irritated me with that, because I just feel like he had to say so and that too, and she just kind of took that away from him. Now, I, I'm prepared for y'all to be all up in my comments over this one. Claire. Now, I'm going to make this as short as I possibly can. Older Claire stressed my life out. Young Claire was just a sweet young lady looking out for those she cared about. Because, see, a lot of these comments I see are people make it seem like she was hating on Allie, but she was truthfully trying to save that young lady from a whirlwind of pain that she inevitably went through. Wow. Okay. And nobody can be mad at her for being initially mad at Ali for befriending Jenna. I mean, for God's sakes, the girl stole her man, even though she warned her. But I'm just saying, young Claire was my dog. Older Claire turned into Emma, and ew. If you know, you know. Now, Alex and Jay, I'm going to lump these two together because, yes, I have to. Ah! Sorry, y'all. That was my son that time. Jonah. Anyway, listen, they definitely got on my nerves, but you can't deny, especially that Jay, that they were the Negans of Degrassi. You just love to hate them. Be honest about it. This is a safe place, babe. Safe space. They had some of the funniest clapbacks, and when they broke up, I swear to goodness, they got even funnier. Let's be real. Alex's friendships with Marco, Paige, Jay, eventually, and even Hazel, kind of, were some of her best moments. She tried everything in her relationship with Paige, but let's be real again, because I love them together, but Paige is a controlling bitch. When she went out, I'm sorry, when she went to stripping and her mom dogged her by belling out full out, I wanted to scream and cry at the same time. Alex went through a lot, okay? Like she had her mom like the house was it was abusive, it was this, it was that, she had a not the greatest relationship, you know what I'm saying? Like with her and Jay, not saying that he was terrible to her, but you could tell later on Alex wasn't really that and she had a good bone in her body. And like Jay kind of pushed it a little bit. Like he would like not make her, but almost kind of like I guess I would say make her then. I don't even know what to say, but he would basically push her to be bad even when she wasn't trying to be bad because he just wanted that. He wanted her on his side. And it really honestly it was very sad for Alex. But yeah, she tried and she got better and it just seemed like things just went from bad to worse with her a lot and I just felt bad for the girl, she really was kind of sweet. Um And Jay got better later on too. It took him like a decade, but he got better. He was definitely funny and had some redeeming moments. So I don't really again understand the hate with Jay. I mean, like Jay's not even that bad, honestly. Like, and I've rewatched the season and stuff. So unless I'm missing something, or I might have skipped through an episode, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, like, you know, he's not that bad. I mean, he does. Don't get me wrong. Does he come around and stir up bull? Yes, he does. He for sure does that. But I think people forget who he is. He doesn't have the best life either. But I feel like it probably that's another thing. It probably took Jay longer because he had to really find some good people to be around. He rubbed off a little bit on Spinner rubbed off on him a little bit. That's why they became friends even later on, even after the whole Darcy thing, because he was able to do that for him. Like Jay is that type of friend that you want to beat him up, and you're probably gonna beat him up, but it's like that's still my dog for real. So I don't know. But last up on the list, my boy Craig. Listen, this is your warning right now. If you are easily rattled, skedaddle. I don't even know how long this is going to be. You can skip a couple seconds and hear what I'm saying. But if you're easily rattled, easily triggered, I don't know nothing about that. I'm a 91 baby. Sorry. I don't I don't get easily rattled. But if you are, go on to the left. Go on to the right. Crisscross, something. Because I'm going to say it. I am going to say it. So if you don't want to hear it, too bad. Get a therapist. Y'all hate Craig because he can't keep his dick in his pants. That's it. That is it. You have no other reason to hate Craig. Okay? Like you're projecting your own past traumas from the F boys you dealt with onto Craig. And I have my receipts. Okay? Get a therapist. My boy was a phenomenal friend. Did we forget his friendship with Sean? Forget how amazing he was to Terry? Forget that he literally left with Emma to find her real dad? Very selfless act. Had my boy Marcos back to the T along with Jimmy. Give it to him. He was a rider, not so much in real life. Anyway, my boy even had Manny's back. You know, he ain't played by his baby mother. Oh, I'm so childish. But he was the person you saw the most with my boy Jimmy, like when he was in the hospital. Plus, he made good music. Like, so stop playing with me. Like, yes, he's a cheater. Yeah, he was hitting them ski slopes. Yeah, he beat up Joe. Okay, actually, I hated that. But as a fellow bipolar haver, I get where he come from. He wildin', but I get it. My man's, and that's another thing. Y'all keep skipping over. My man's been traumatized since he was a kid. No wonder he couldn't act normal. And newsflash, another trigger warning. Infidelity is common in those with mental health. I'm not saying you cannot fix that, but it's common. You're broken. Duh. And realistically, some people aren't good lovers. They can be great friends, great fathers, terrible mates. Which basically sums up Craig. I mean, he didn't have kids, but I'm saying the way he was, even with Angela, I feel like y'all got to stop. Just stop. I made my point. Mic drop. I'm done with it. So yeah, those are my Degrassi characters that I feel get unnecessary hate. I will give an honorable mention. Toby. A lot of people hate him for no reason. Um, there's not really too much to say about the character. He was kind of like real. He was kind of a realist, very funny. Um, just a kid. So yeah, I guess he'd be like one of my honorable mentions. Another honorable mention I would say is Rick. If you really think that there's no reason that he gets unnecessary hate, not saying he can't get hate, but he gets unnecessary hate, go back to my second video that I ever made. My second episode was Rick was not as bad as you think he is. Listen to that in full before you get in my comment section. Because if you did not listen to it in full, you cannot give an honest opinion because I made some very valid points. You could still disagree. You could still think I'm out of my mind. But I really want you to check it out before you comment on that because he is an honorable mention because he got a lot of hate and a lot of flack when he came back. Not when he was there before, when he came back. I need that to be abundantly clear as well because there's a difference between who he was then and who he was before his death. So, with that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing night. Get some good rest, relax, do some yoga, do some meditation if you got to. And I love you guys. Mwah.